Hello and welcome back to another Calamity Crofter, and in this episode we're looking at the David Brown again, and we're going to be putting the fuel tank back into it so that we can test and see that everything is running okay in it. So as I say, today's task is just to get the tank back in, and obviously the little bits that surround that, and then hopefully in the next few days we'll give it a test to see what's happening with it, see that, make sure that we haven't got any leaks or anything like that. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so the task we're looking at here is putting the tank back on and also looking at fixing the dashboard back to the tank, because that's where the dashboard sits. So I'm going to need a hand initially to get the tank back on. So but these are the obviously four bolt holes that I'm going to be attaching the tank to. Interestingly enough, when we took the tank off, there was only 2 bolts in holes for this, and they didn't even have nuts on, so they were just being used like almost like locators. Anyway, so this time we're going to secure the tank, make sure it's on there and on there properly, and we'll get the dashboard on. So I'll get somebody to give me a hand to put the tank on, because I say it's kind of awkward, and there is about well, there's probably less than a quarter of a tank of fuel in it, but there's no point emptying it. It's just awkward anyway. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back to the next bit. Well, that's the tank on, and it took a little bit of messing around. I actually had to loosen off the bolts that hold the steering column down the bottom to give myself enough movement to get the tank in. But that's the tank in now, so now we can start bashing on with putting in the bolts. So that'll be the next thing. Okay, so I've got a bolt here. It's going to go in this corner here, and it's quite a tight space to move in, and the hole is actually quite, just probably about 2 inches into that hollow part there. So to try and get the nut in, I think this is going to be a close-up, and what I'm going to use is a magnet. Put the bolt onto the magnet. I'm going to see if I can pop it in the hole. So how this was held on before was there was 2 bolts holding this in, but they didn't actually have any nuts on them. So basically they were just there just to locate the tank, really, and it was gravity that was holding it on. So hopefully we'll secure it this time. So we'll see if we can get this bolt in. Come on. Right. So sticking my arm from the dashboard side of things, I've managed to get the nut onto the bolt, and I can do it up. So basically I've had to stick my arm up there and support the nut from this side and guide it and feel the bolt at the same time. But it is doing up, so that's good. Not the easiest place to get to. So that's okay. So that's in. Okay, so that's the first one. So you get the idea. So I'm going to do the other 3 bolts. There's no point me videoing doing the other 3 bolts. It's going to be the same sort of procedure, just trying to feel my way in and get to the holes, and then basically get the nut and the bolt to meet up and hopefully get them to do up. So I'll carry on next 3 and I'll see you again in a few minutes. So that's the tank secured. So that's now back in place. Now the next thing I'm going to focus on is securing the dashboard to the tank. So there's 4 screws on the back here. And basically they've got like little slots in. So what I'm going to use, I'll just go and grab some. So what I'm going to use is a clip to go around the hole on the tank, and then I've got a screw to go through the dashboard, and that will secure it to the tank. So I've got 4 lots of them to go on now. So because of the way this is, in that there's not a lot of space here and trying to get these to sit on, I'm going to put some masking tape over the holes. This will help these clips grip on and not move around when I'm trying to secure the screws inside. So that's what I'm going to do just now. So as I say, bit of tape there on the 4 holes, and then we'll see if we can get the screws in. See how we get on. Okay, so you can now see that's the tape there I've put on the tank, and it's covering the hole there. You can see that there's a bit of space there. So I need to get that clip onto there. So I've done the other 3, so this is the last one. So that now should all help with the lining up there. And as you can see, there's the hole there. So now we've got that in place, I can now try and put some screws in it and see what we get after that. Okay, so I've done 3 of the screws holding this in now. I've obviously left them loose so that I can get the last one placed. So let's try and do this last one here, and then you can see what I did with the other 3. So what we can see here is there's the hole that's actually not quite lined up. It's moved. So what we can do is to try and get that back, we'll get a screwdriver to try and push that back in. Okay. So if I now get that hole to line up, I can push through the tape, and hopefully we should be able to find the clip the other side. There we go, and it's in. So that's it located there. So I can now do these up, and that should be that part. Go around and do the other side, and then we'll start looking at the next bits. Okay, so We've now got the tank in. We now just need to do the connections on the front here, get the fuel pipes connected here, and hopefully we're not far away from it being back together. So what we've got here is, so that's this bit here. So this is a return pipe there. I might just try and do that side first, just to make sure that we get that on. Yep. And we can get that into there. Okay. And I've slackened off this pipe so I've got the room to get this one back in. So, see if we can get those tightened up. So that's that, and I'm now just doing the end on the fuel pump here. That's that one. Lots of different sizes, as you can see. Makes it interesting. Oh, you've got a spanner. Okay, and then this piece here. This is the return pipe. Okay, so that should be that. Just hook up a sender wire and that's us in. So that's all in now. Obviously need to start it just to make sure there's no leaks and make sure we're happy with everything there, and then it's a case of should be good to go, and then we can get the bonnet back on. So that's that all back in now, so that's us all good, ready to go. As I say, on to the next stage, getting the bonnet on, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we now have these 4 bolts on the steering column here. I need to just tighten now, and then once we've done that, we should be good. Okay, so we're now going to get them reasonably into the holes by hand. Now I'll just tighten up by spanner. Okay. Okay, and just the last one. Okay, so that should hopefully do it. So that's that all back together now. So that's us all good. Bit of a pain getting the tank out, obviously. It was quite good though. It was a useful exercise because obviously found out that the tank wasn't actually being held in by really anything. Not only that, I was able to get the tank out relatively easily, which I discovered afterwards because the bolts down the bottom of the steering column were loose. So that's obviously why somebody's obviously had the tank out in the past, and that's obviously what they've done. But they haven't tightened up the bolts again. And there was actually two. No, there was one missing, and there was one very loose one. And so anyway, I managed to find another bolt to do that. So it's now got a full complement of bolts there, and they're all in, they're all tight. So that's holding the steering column properly as well. So that's all secured in. So that's good. So that's another fix for the tractor. So that will do for today, and we'll see how we get on next time. So that's the David Brown onto its next phase of work. So we've got the tank back in, and we've got all the bits and pieces around there done. Hopefully we'll get this sorted out relatively quickly. The tractor is actually appearing at the Leg Crofters show on the 22nd of August if you happen to be there, so that'd be quite good. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, and please leave your likes, and if there's any comments, please leave them as well, and hopefully see you next time. Thank you.